Where we stopped in the last session, we discussed about exception handling, right? Sorry. Okay, let me recap all the things once. First of all, what kind of questions they may ask? What is an exception? Okay, what's your answer? If anybody asks like what is an exception, simply one word answer you can tell. Okay, it's a runtime error, right? It's a runtime error or not? Yes or no? At the time of compile time, if you get any error, that error what we can say? It's a syntax error, right? Syntax error or not? Usually any programming language you can take it. You can see either syntax errors or you can see either runtime errors or not. So in any programming language, while executing the program, while running the program, if you get any error, those are we can say like a runtime errors. Terminology wise, those runtime errors we can say like a exception. So what is an exception? Exception is a runtime error. Whenever the program throws a runtime error, okay, what happened? The program like terminated as like abnormal or not? Yes or no? As like abnormal. If I write like this, if I execute this state, how many statements? 5 statements. What's my output? If I execute these 5 statements, what's my output?
Name is not defined.
Directly name is not defined. 1, 2, it is going to print. And then what is the error? Name error.
Name error.
Okay. Name is not defined. Exactly this kind of error you can get it or not. If you want something like this, name location is not defined. Not defined. This is the error you can get it or not. Yes or no? Here my question is, what is this name error? What is this name error? What is the type of this name error? Type of name.
Predefined.
Hmm?
Predefined exception.
Type of name error. It is an exception only. What is the type of name error? What is the type of name error? It's a
Class.
class, right?
Yeah.
Class. It's a class. Who created that class? You or
Python people.
Python people? It's a predefined one, right? Python people created this class or not? Yes or no? Now tell me, whenever in your program one exception raised, that exception is belongs to okay one class. Yes or no? That class created by either Python, that class may created by you also or not. Yes or no? If that
Yes, sir.
class is created by Python people, like this name error, those are like what? Predefined exceptions. If you want to create your own exception, is nothing but custom exception. Possible or not possible? Possible or not possible? Come on daily basis, every day we are going to use exception handling. Custom exceptions, possible or not? Yes, possible, right? As on yesterday, we created like is error. So whenever the exception raised in your program, that exception is belongs to one class. So procedure tell me. Okay, 4 steps yesterday we discussed, right? First, whenever the exception raised, now it is going to check this exception is matching with which class. First of all, find the exception class or not. Find the exception class. Once you find the exception class, what is the next step?
Create an object.
Create an object, right? Create an object. To whom? Create an object to whom? To that
To
exception.
exception.
Once you create an object, the next step is what?
We need to
Throw
raise
the
that.
exception.
Raise. Okay, raise the exception or not. Yes or no? You raise the exception. Once you raise the exception, okay, as a developer, you have to do what? Handle that exception or not. If you not handle, the program terminated like abnormal. Yes or no? If the exception raised by the Python people, those people will take care of these 4 steps. If the exception raised by you, you have to take care of these 4 steps or not? Yes or no? So all the exceptions handled by Python people by default? No, right? Some of the specific, okay, specific scenarios only they handle. What kind of scenarios they handled? Okay, use one variable which is not defined. If you use one variable, if you use one variable which is not defined, then the time Python people raised an exception or not. What kind of exception? Name error. Yes or no? The next, come on, this kind of tell me. Come on, this kind of errors tell me different.
Divide by zero error.
Divided by
Zero.
zero. Okay, anything divided by zero. Okay, they raised an exception, right? Zero division error or not? Yes or no? Raised an exception. Who raised? Python people. Next, for example, I'm converting one string into integer. Will it work? No, right? One
It won't
string,
work.
one string integer I can convert into string, but one string how I can convert into integer? Then the time my Python people only raised an exception or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Somebody expecting, okay, the value is like a method. See, the a is what? If you see the statement, what is the a type? If you see the statement, what is my a
It's a
type?
method. It's a
It's a
method.
method. Okay, but you supply my a value is like a 10. Then the time the supplied value expected a method or function, but you supplied integer. Is my integer is a function? No, right? Then that time, okay, my Python people only raised an exception or not? Yes or no? My Python people only raised an exception or not? Just check real quickly. Now go to Kalam's codes. Go to Python. Now, did you complete this program, today's program? Anyone? Write a code snippet which should use break keyword using while loop. No one write. Hmm? Are you not written? Danish? Tirumala? Sorry? Hmm? Write it, okay? Okay, let's go. Now come here. First one. Print 10 by 0. Who raised this exception? Python people raised this exception or not? Yes or no? The next one. Int Sachin. Who raised this exception? Who raised this exception? You na Python people. See, I didn't raise any exception. My code is one statement only. Who raised this exception?
Python people.
Only people. Now, who raised this exception? Who raised this exception? Python people only, right? Yes or no? Who raised this exception? Python people. These all exceptions raised by Python people. Some other exceptions also there. Some of the scenarios they handled. But if you come here, sal equals to 1000. Okay, print my salary is this one. Okay, my salary is okay 1000. If you observe the statement, it is like 100% valid statement, right? It's a readable statement, right? My salary is like 1000. That's okay, right? For example, if I write minus, anyone's salary is like a negative? Anyone's salary is like a negative? No, right?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay, but still my Python people not handle, not raise any exception. They not raised any exception. Okay. So what you have to in this case, you have to do in this case, my salary is like -1,000. Print my salary is like -1,000. It's like printed. It's like printed. Whatever you written the code, it's like printed. It's not through any exception. Why? Because in this case, I said like some of the scenarios Python people handled and they raised an exception. Some of the cases which are related to your business requirement. As per my business requirement, one employee minimum salary is like 1,000 rupees. Okay, that is my business rule. Or one employee salary should not be negative. That is my business rule. Okay, in that case, my business rule is okay, keep it aside. But if you come to this one, see this, it is like one variable, right? Salary is like -1,000. It's like a variable. It is like okay, as per me, I know this is like a salary -1,000, but as per Python it is like what, one variable whose value is like in the negative or not. Yes or no? Whose value like negative or not? Yes or no? Whose value is like negative? Okay, one variable with some negative value, that's okay, right? Fine. So that Python just think it is like a variable name, it's like a variable value. My salary is like str of sal, that's it. As per Python, one variable value you printed through concatenation, that's it. That the reason, just my salary is like 1,000 -1,000 printed. But as per my business rule, whenever my salary is like negative, can you throw an exception? Yes or no? Okay, in that case, my Python people, they not raised the exception. You have to raise your own exception or not. You have to raise your own exception or not. Yes or no? You have to raise your own exception. So you have to write one exception class, how the predefined classes all looks like. Okay, which classes are there? Name error, value error, type error, division by zero error, how the predefined classes are there. Same like this, you have to create your own exception class, and you have to see, you have to create the class. Okay, that means you have to find the exception class, you have to create an object for that particular class, and you have to raise an exception or not. Yes or no? Come on, in that case, you have to create your own exception class. Okay, now once in your program, one exception raised, okay, you want me to leave like this, exception raised, it means the program terminated like normal or abnormal?
Abnormal.
A program terminated like abnormal. Okay, if the program terminated like abnormal, okay, then what happened? Then what happened? Some of the statements are not executed or not. Still, those statements are like what? Okay, their statements are like valid statements only. Okay, because of this particular line, throw an exception. Because of this particular line, throw an exception. Remaining statements not executed, and my index terminated the program execution or not. So you want me to leave like this? My exception thrown. If you leave like this, these two statements will never execute. Then what you have to do? You have to, what you have to do? You have to handle the exception or not. How we can handle the exception in Python? How we can handle the exception in Python? Come on, how we can handle the exception in Python?
By using
Using
try,
try,
exception,
finally,
It has some
finally,
keywords, right?
and
There are
raise.
some keywords, right? Okay, one is like try. Okay, in the try, it's a keyword. Whenever you want to use, in your Python program, how it looks like? Syntactically, it's a block. Now tell me, if I run this, what happened? If I run this, what happened? If I
the
run this, what
notation is not different. Type name
gives
type.
me nothing. Syntax error, you can get it. Okay. Missing either catch, okay, expected or expect block or finally block. Expect block or finally block or not. Yes or no? Okay, okay. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
can I write like the block? Okay, if I write like finally, what is my output? Is my program terminated normal or abnormal? Is my program
Normal.
terminated or abnormal? Abnormal, right? Why? Because you written like try and you added like finally also. Now there is no syntax error. But here, whenever the exception rise in the try block, okay, it is looking for which block to handle that exception. To handle that exception, it is looking for which block?
Except
Handle that exception, it is looking for expect block, but that expect block is not there. But that expect block is not there. So you not handle that exception. But here, my final executed, right? Why my final executed? Whether the exception raised or not raised. Yesterday we already discussed my finally block got executed or not. Every time either exception is there, exception not there, always my finally block is going to execute. Yes or no? So now tell me, in the try block, how many statements are there? All the statements always will execute. Yes or no?
no.
All the statements always execute. No, right? When all the statements are going to execute in the try block?
All are errors.
There is no errors in the try block. There is no exception raised in the try block. Then the time all the statements will execute or not? Yes or no? Can we raise an exception in the final block? There may be chance or not. Is there any possibility? Is there raise an exception from finally block? Possibility there or not there?
There.
Possibility there, right? Possibility is there or not? Here, how many? Name error is there. The next one is like what? Zero division error also there or not? Possibility is there. Okay. Now, if you want to provide some graceful termination, what do you have to do? If you want to provide some graceful termination, what do you have to do? You have to handle that exception or not. So how we can handle the exception? How we can handle the exception? Okay, by using expect block or not. Now, if you observe here, see the program not terminated like abnormal, my program terminated like normal or not? Yes or no? Can you tell me expect block syntaxes? How many ways you can write expect block? This, if you write like this is like what? Terminology, what you can say? It is like a default expect block. Default expect block. It can handle any kind of exception. Okay, the next one. Expect block with specific exception. How we can write it? Can I write like this? Is it valid or invalid? Is it like valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid. If I write like this, then what happened? Is my program terminated like normal or abnormal?
Abnormal.
Abnormal. Okay, why abnormal? Very simple. Whenever it entered into try block, print LOC. LOC there or not there? Not there. So that exception raised. Which exception raised? Name error.
Name error.
Looking for the name error. Okay, first it find the exception class. After that, it created an object. And then they raised an exception. Whenever the name error exception raised, it is looking for what? The expect block, which can hold the name error or not. But here expect block, okay, which can hold value error, not name error. That the reason no expect block to handle the name error. That the reason my program terminated like abnormal or not. Yes or no? Come on. Okay, now if I write like this, will it work or not work?
It will work.
It is going to work, right? Why? Because
Event
the
class.
super class, right? For all exception classes, this is the super class or not? For all the exception classes, this is the super class. So that it can hold, it can handle the any exception. It can handle any kind of exception. Now, this is one syntax. The next one. The next one.
Print EX.
What is this EX?
An object of exception.
An object of which class?
Exception class.
Okay. An object of exception class. Can you print it? how we can print the type? Can I print like this? It is an object of which class? It is an object of which class?
Name errors.
Name, right? Okay, my parent can hold my children object or not? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, that theory applied here. The exception raised, find the matching class. Okay, suitable class for that exception. Here the exception raised line number 4. Which exception raised? Name error. In Python, name error is there or not there? Predefined name error class is there or not there?
There.
There.
Okay, once he find it, next step is what? Create an object for that. Once he create an object, next step is what? Raise an exception. Once he raise an exception, next step is what? Checking, okay, that exception handled or not. Yes, the exception handled with whom? Same class or parent class? Parent class. That is okay. Okay, children can hold by parent or not? Yes or no? Here, the exception EX is not directly an object of parent. It is an object of what? Okay, name error only or not? Yes or no? Up to okay. Now, in Python, can I write like multi-expect blocks? In
Yes, sir.
Python, can I write multi-expect blocks? Yes, you can write it. So how we can write it? Expect name error as a exception, print name error. What is the output if I run it? If I run it, what is the output? Come on. If I run it, what is the output? 1 2 name, location is not defined, exception name error, finally executed 3 4. Okay, which one is executed? This one is executed or not? Yes or no? Exception class. Now, if you come here, if I remove this one, then is it valid syntax or invalid syntax?
It's
Invalid.
invalid.
Valid.
Right? Okay, default expect must be lost. At the same time, okay, here also can you follow that guideline? Whenever you use the super exception class in your program, that super exception class can you keep always in the lost executables, lost statement only if it is like a super? Yes or no? Recommended. It is going to work, but recommended to keep a lost, okay, lost expect block. Keep as like a lost expect block. Now, if you run this one, now the name error supposed to be print. Okay, unterminated. What is that? Syntax error, unterminated string literal.
In the name error class.
This one, no? Now it is okay.
Okay. Sir.
Now, if you come here, now see this. Okay, which one is executed? Which one is executed? The name error is nothing but this one executed or not. So, can you do one thing? Whenever you try to write like multiple expect blocks, can you follow the hierarchy? Children's first you can do it, and then can you write the parent? The parent always must be okay. It's like a lost executable expect block, not lost expect block. Okay, up to okay, everyone. Come on. Now, I want to create my own exception class. Tell me how you can create your own exception class. I want to create my own exception class. Okay, before go with this, I have one class is there. If I print an object of this particular class, what it is going to give the output? If I write like this, if I create an object for this particular class, okay, print of obj, what it is going to give? Print of obj, what it is going to give?
It gives some location, address.
It gives me, okay, some address, one formatted string you can see or not. One formatted string. Okay, you have to write some statement. Sorry, this is invalid, right? Can I write like pass? Okay, can you come here? Okay, it's like what? Some formatted, okay, some formatted string with some address name and everything included or not? Everything included or not? Yes or no? But my question is, whenever you print an object, just I don't want this kind of message, just I want like some readable message, human readable message. I don't want like this kind of. Then what you want me to do?
We need to override __ star
Yeah.
str.
You
Method.
need to, yes, you need to override one of the method called as __ str __ or not. Yes or no? Okay, so can I write that method? How we can write it? Df __ str __ okay, just print something like this. Okay, now if you run this one, what happened? If you run this one, what happened?
It will print SS.
Okay, now can I run it? Just fix this issue. What is this one? What it means? What is this one? What it means?
I think we need to pass one
Yes.
argument to that method.
Whenever, okay, now I'm going to remove this one. Okay, still are you get this error or not? There is no error, right? There is no error, right? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Can I print obj?
Then we'll get it.
Yeah, now tell me, whenever you try to print obj, internally one action performed. Which action performed? Whenever you print directly an object, internally one action performed. What is that action?
Obj.str calling.
obj.str calling or not? Yes or no? Okay, while calling this is which kind of method? First of all, static class or instance? Which method?
Instance.
It's like
Instance
instance
method.
method. If you call an instance method with your object, by default we are going to pass what? Your current class object or not? Okay, if you pass the current class object, it is nothing but like this. Okay, this is the one, obj. This is the one. If I pass the current class object to my str, you should have to hold it or not? Okay, how we can hold it? Can I hold like this? Can I hold like this? What is the next one? This particular call is expecting some value, but you not return that value or not? But you not return that value or not? So can I return some value like this? Now whenever you return, that value only printed or not whenever you create an object? Not create an object whenever you print an object. Yes or no? __ str __ about the method. Agreed, everyone? Come on.
Yes.
Okay, now let's go. Can you write a function? Can you write a function which should accept your salary as like a parameter? Okay, just you can print the salary, whatever you pass. Okay, so write a function, get the salary. It is accepting your salary as a parameter. Now here you can write like my salary is, okay, my salary is sal. Okay, now here get sal. If I write like 1000, now my output is what? My salary is like 1000. It's correct only. Now if I write like this, my salary is like -10. Okay, 1000. It's not like valid. As per my business rule, whenever my salary you received like negative, then that time can you throw an exception? Can you throw an exception? So do we have any matching exception? If really JavaScript, okay, really Python people handle this salary exception, they're supposed to be raise an exception, but this kind of exceptions they're not handle, they're not raised. So that what you have to do, this is your specific to your business, not like global, right? Yes or no? So In this case, what you have to do?
Create our own exception.
You have to create your own exception. Okay, can you create your own exception? Let's go. All exceptions, predefined exceptions. Which type?
Are
Class type.
Class
Class.
type.
Class type. Can we create my class now? Class salary
Salary error.
error. Sal error. Yes or no? Now tell me, whenever you create a class like this, it's like a normal class, right? It's like a normal class.
Yes.
Okay, but my question is, the sal error should equal to name error, value error, type error, okay, zero division error, that kind of I want. So can
we
we
need
get
to
some
inherit
information from
from
name error? Yes or no? Tell me about the name error. Type of name error. First thing is like, it's a class type. My name error dot underscore base underscore. What is that? My
exception.
name error is inherited from which class? Exception
Exception
class or
class.
not? If it is like inherited from exception class, my sal error also should inherited from which class?
Exception class.
Exception class or not? So can we inherit it? How we can inherit in Python one class into another?
Exception.
Exception like this or not? Yes or no? Now tell me, my sal error has how many members? Whole members how many? 0.
no membership.
Total members how many? Total members how many? My total members are like what? Exception class members or not?
Yes.
My exception class members inherited into which class? Sal error or not? Yes or no? Now, whenever my salary is like negative, okay, if right, my sal is less than 0, then that time what you have to do? First
Throw
step,
an error.
you have to find your exception class. There or not there? That is your class. That's okay, fine. There or not there?
Yes, there.
There. Once you have an exception class, what you have to do? You have to create an object for that particular class. How we can create an object? Like this. Once you have an object, you have to throw an exception. How we can throw an exception?
Rise.
Using rise keyword. In Java, throw keyword. In JavaScript also throw keyword. In Python, rise keyword. Okay, now if I run this one only, what exactly the output was? What exactly the output was? Output.
Maybe no output.
No output. Okay, exception raised or no?
It raised.
Exception raised, but there is no output. Okay, the program terminated like normal or abnormal?
Abnormal.
Abnormal.
The program terminated like abnormal, right? Yes or no? Okay, what is the error?
Error.
What is that error? Something
Sal
like
error.
sal error has to come, right? Yes or no? I want same kind of structure. Okay, sal error I want. Okay, at the same time, I want some message. Okay, this kind of structure I want. Then how we can pass some message which is related to my exception? Here I raise an exception. Okay, how I can pass one message here? How we can pass one message?
As a parameter.
Okay, here there has one scope. Okay, here only or not? Yes or no? Here only I can pass some data or not? So salary should positive or not? Yes or no? Now if I run this, what happened? Now see here. Then what happened? Sal error. Sal error is my class or Python class?
Our
It's
class.
Exception class. Ours. Okay. The exception message is what? Salary should positive. Salary should positive or not. Yes or no? Now exception raised. Did you handle this exception or not handled?
Not handled.
Not handled, right? Whether exception raised by you or exception raised by the Python people, whoever it is, the exception raised means it is recommended to handle that exception or not. So how we can handle that exception?
Try except.
Okay, by using try expect. This is like a common, right? Try and expect block. So can we write that? Okay, just you can write it. Try with expect block. Where you want me to write? Line number 10. Try
Line
with
number 5.
block. Now problematic statement is this one, right? Okay, try with the expect block. So these all can I keep inside?
Yes.
These all statements you want me to keep inside? Okay. Next,
Except.
expect block, print exception raised, for example. Now my program terminated like normal, but where is my salary? I want to print the salary, right? I want to print the salary or not? Sorry, I want to print the salary. Then how?
Keep that print outside. I mean, that should not under.
You want me to keep that statement outside, out of that particular try block, outside of the try block, you mind?
Line number 8, we can cut it from there and paste it in the line number 11.
Okay, you want me to keep like this? Okay, can I run it now? Salary is not defined. Okay, so you have to follow the indentation or not. Now say exception raised, that's okay. Now still my statement is like valid or invalid? The statement is not valid, right? What is that statement? My salary is like minus. I don't want like that. Then what do you want? What do you want me to do?
In the exception block, we can
Yeah.
assign some value to the
Yeah,
salary.
just you can write. Okay, exception handling is nothing but not only just simply whatever the exception raised, handle that exception. You need to provide some alternate solution for that particular problem. The problem here is what? Salary is like negative. Okay, that is the problem. So can you reset to my salary is like 0? At least. Now if I run this, now see, exception raised, my salary is like what? 0. At least it's a valid or not instead of negative. Yes or no? Okay, the full exception, okay, message I want, not exception raised, I want the message. So how we can handle? Salary, yes, exception. Now can I write something like this? What is this? My salary should positive or not? My salary should positive. Yes or no? Appear okay, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, this is the way you can create what? This is the way you can create your own exceptions or not. Okay, now if I write something like this, print, okay, ex dot orgs, exception dot orgs, then what is the message? What it is going to give?
The content which is in the arguments is going to print.
Just it is going to print what?
Sal should positive.
Orgs salary should positive in which format?
Array.
In
List.
Array or tuple?
tuple
Tuple.
format.
Tuple format.
Tuple.
Okay, it is gives us like a tuple format. Now if you come here, if I run it, okay, it is gives us like a tuple format or not. Okay, here, how many parameters? Okay, your wish. You can pass like one more parameter, one more parameter also. These all they handled or not. Okay, in the tuple format, they printed or not. Wait to print it. ex.arg salary should positive. Okay. Okay, this one, right? Print ex, and this one also printed. Same, right?
Yes.
That's all. Okay, if I comment this one, if I comment this one, now it should be only one. Okay, now whenever you get this message like this, okay, this is the ex, right? Ex is an object of which class?
Val error.
Salary.
Valid. You are printing an object, it gives me one readable message. That means which method they've overridden. Means which method they've overridden.
Underscore,
str.
Str.
Yes or underscore str. But is that method is overridden or not?
Not
Is that
over.
no, right. If it is not overridden, then the who overridden? Okay, where is that method? It's not overridden, but where is that method then?
Exception class.
That is in the exception class, right? That is in the exception class or not? In the exception class, the str, whatever you pass this data, okay, this data they are using or not. Now tell me how this data go there. Actually, how this data go there? You create an object for this particular one. How this data go to your parent? Hmm? How this data go to your parent? Come on.
Via super.
Yeah. Now see, whenever you create an object, okay, inside that class, which method is going to execute? Constructor. Constructor. Do we have any constructor?
No.
No. If my children is not having that one, now it is go to where? Now it go to where? Parent or not? Parent or not? So internally, this particular data go to where? Go to my parent or not? Parent is nothing but in this case exception or not. So this data go to my parent. Inside the parent, they are using for what? This data. They are using for what purpose? They give this data as a written value of which method? They give this data as a written value of which method? Whatever you pass here, they given this data as a written value of which method? Come on, as a written value of which method? str underscore str underscore, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is, if I write like this, what happened now? If I write like this, what happened?
I think it is going to throw an error.
Yeah, which error?
Because missing super.
First of all, you call or you pass how many parameters?
3.
3 parameters. Is this particular constructor handle these 3 parameters?
No.
No, right? First of all, positional parameter error, you can get it or not. You need to take one positional argument, but 4 were given, including what? Self. Yes, no. How many given? 4 were given. So, okay, then what do you have to do?
I have to hold.
Okay, you have to pass, right? Okay, you have to hold it, right? how we can hold, okay, there has one parameter, 2, 3, 4, like that. I don't know exact count them.
Rest.
Dot.
Asterisk.
Where variable length argument or not. Rest in JavaScript. Java where arg. In Python,
Vararg.
variable length. Java where arg. In Python,
Variable length.
variable length, right? Okay, tell me how many types of arguments you have in Python. How many types of arguments are there in Python?
4.
4 types. What are those? Positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable length arguments, and keyword variable length arguments are. Yes or no? Okay, now how we can hold all this information?
Dot.
Okay, can I get some data like this? Is it valid or invalid syntactically? Syntactically, is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
It's like valid, right? Now, if you observe here, okay, the exception message, it's printed, right? Salary should not, okay, whatever it is, salary should not, something like this. The constructor is executed. My salary should not 10, 20. Okay, this data is printed or not? That's all. But my question is, this data to whom you want me to pass? This data to whom you want me to pass?
I want to pass it to.
My parent, right?
Yes.
Yes or no? So how we can pass this data to my parent constructor? How we can call your parent constructor?
Superize.
By using super, right? By using super. So super, how we can call it? First of all, this args is which kind of, what is the type of this one? What is the type? Args. What is the type?
This tuple.
It's a tuple, right? It's a tuple or not? Just I want to pass some data. So how we can pass the data? Can I pass my super dot underscore underscore init? Can I pass my first value like this? Then what happens? Salary should positive. The first value go there or not? Yes or no? If I pass all these values, then the time you can get all these values or not? Yes or no? Now here, df underscore underscore str underscore underscore self, okay, return ss. If I run this one, what happens? It gives me what? Yes. Why? Because whenever you print ex is an object of which class? Sal error. Whenever you try to print an object, it is going to call which method? Underscore underscore str underscore underscore. But underscore underscore str underscore underscore is returns me what? Ss. So it is going to print what? Ss or not. You want me to print like that? No. What do you want me to print? What do you want me to print?
I wanted to print salary should positive.
Okay, then what change you want me to do? Then what change you want me to do? Go on, multiple ways you can tell. What change you want me to do? Tell me. Simple. Multiple ways. If you want to customize in your cell error, you can do one thing. Can you create one class variable self dot my error message equals to args of 0? Okay, na?
Yes.
Can you return self dot message?
Self dot message.
Yes, no. Now it is going to return me what? Salary should positive. Whatever my parent has, that one only if you want, then the time. What do you want me to do? Can you call super class underscore underscore str? Yes or no? If you call the super class, then the time my super class, whatever you I passed, that data only you can get it or not. Yes. One. Understood everyone? All are okay?
So whatever we are going to pass to the init, that will be written statement of str.
They written like that. They written. Who written? Exception. Whatever you pass a exception message, that particular value only they are going to give us back. Who written? Exception class. Okay. If you're not satisfied with that, if you want to customize it, you can write your own str in your cell error. You can customize it, right? Yes or no?
Okay.
Got my point? Up here, okay, everyone?
Yes.
Any questions? Hmm? No? Okay, then we'll continue remaining things in the next session. Who not written the program, just write it now. Just write it. We'll complete this one. Okay, very simple this. Okay, nothing is there already written, right? Okay, then thank you guys. Thanks for joining. Bye.